my name is Dmitry. So I'm cryptography background, and I was VP at Wargaming many years since between the gaming and let's say before even the NFT. It was not even named NFT, but people started to do this many years ago. Right now we're in kind of mass market that started. And happy to introduce like Anne from Star Crazy. Anne, can you talk a little bit about the project to do the introduction?
Yeah. Hi guys, all watching the Hyper Games convention. I'm Anne from Star Crazy. Actually, I'm very new to the project. It's a project from IoTex. It's a Star Crazy is an NFT game built on the IoTex environment. So, yeah, I've been here for like a month. Yet everything is new to me: cryptocurrency, NFTs. But with playing the game and being in the game, I think I can share to you some or what Star Crazy is all about, and and might as well people would learn about more about NFTs.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. I think if you can tell a little bit about the ITX because this is more casual conference about the gaming, not let's say crypto crowd, so maybe they need to be educated in general, some basic stuff.
Yeah. Just to start, by the way, I've just met Art Malkov from IoTech, so he is the leader for growth in IoTech. Basically, Star Crazy uses the IoTech token to purchase our tokens in the game. So our yeah, sorry, I think my internet is very intermittent. Yeah, they come in a form of cats with unique and um, very unique, and they are special attributes. So basically, it's the physical attributes, and they have unique digging power. So the course of the game is to use to collect the cats, which are the NFTs, and they have their corresponding digging power. So each cat can mine in the star mine, and that's the way to earn in the game. That's how we earn in the game. With the cats that you own and comparing them to your attributes, there is a option to fuse your NFTs, to fuse your cards to obtain a bigger or a higher digging power, in which when you put them in the mine and they start to mine, given that IoTex can validate the transaction in around 10 seconds. So that fast, you can just earn. Yeah, and it's really a good passive income because you don't have to be automatically in the game just to earn, since it is run by a smart contract. So once you dispatch your cats, or once you dispatch your stars in the star mine, they will just do the work for you, and they will continue to earn.
So it's
Yeah.
similar to the real mining, like you have some people who are working there, and then like the company is growing once you invested.
For IoTex, for Star Crazy, it is from IoTex, and Star Crazy Lab is the developer of the game, still under IoTex. For now, that's all so far I am introduced to, and by maybe soon enough in the coming months, I will be learning more about the environment itself. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. Next one is Ali.
Hi.
Hi, Ali.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce to you guys a concept where we can sell NFTs, hyper casual games as NFTs in the first metaverse in MENA region, that will be available on the phone. So we have a concept of selling the games that did not do well in terms of KPIs, and therefore we could sell it to our community to provide them provide them as arcade machines where they can put it in their own spaces that they bought in our metaverse. And our community has been growing larger and larger recently, so we thought about having also a solution for a lot of game studios that were interested in selling those games that did not do well in terms of KPIs.
Wow, that's amazing goal, I would say. Yeah, it surprised me.
Thank you.
Oh. And you said it's like native, so it will be a native app.
Uh, Yes, it will be on App Store and Google Play as well.
Oh, amazing. Do you have also like options for the people who are from the web?
Yes, we will have a web version as well, so people could sign in with their MetaMask or wallet.
Yeah, amazing. I see like more and more like application this year will be coming in the hybrid type. In past, you see there were a lot of more restriction, let's say from the Apple and Google Plays, But right now I see they're
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately.
yeah, this is the beginning of the market. I remember like you usually when it was beginning of the like mobile games, it was also a lot of more tight restriction, but over the time it's more like less tight. Yeah,
Hopefully.
we'll see. Thank you, Ali. So, John.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks to everyone that's joining. Yeah, I mean this is a super fun space. I mean, I'm a massive hobbyist. You'll see me tweeting about like ducks, not too many apes, but yeah, huge hobbyist. But have 3 sort of live projects on the go right now that are really fun because they're all really different. So one is taking like a very successful, established mid-core game and making a blockchain version. And for me, I wouldn't say the word easy, but that's the most translatable one because you've just already got a rich game economy and almost like rarity scheme built into those kind of games with the sort of IEP system. Another one that has literally just been built from scratch. So actually, designing like the game with like the token NFT drop all from the ground up. That's been a really interesting learning experience. And then the other one is like a metaverse project working very closely with, I can't tell you who it is, but very closely with someone that is doing very well in the metaverse space and building some really cool projects there. So it's been really interesting to get stuck into a variety of projects, and very happy to share some of the challenges that we've been going through, and also on a personal level, it's been really interesting because I invest in a lot of studios, but now looking at a lot of these sort of like private token sales, it's just the number of projects that people are starting up is amazing, and trying to figure out the best way to analyze each of these, because there's just so many amazing ideas like Ali's, and it's trying to look at the ones that you believe have got real utility and really understand the true power of what an NFT is beyond like just a picture of something that is nice art. I think those are the projects that, as well as amazing games, I find fascinating about where NFTs are going now. The utility and just these new business models that people are rewiring with blockchain with blockchain technology is amazing.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, by the way, like, what is your vision about just pre-roll about the first question, but what's your vision, because you have like metaverse? What kind of metaverse exactly you're doing?
Well, I mean, what do I think is going to happen? I think it's, you see it to an extent in terms of like really where Roblox kind of are already and going. I think a metaverse is just somewhere that people, will go to hang out, right? It could be, if any of you have bought have heard of Fluff World, I mean, check that out. That's their own metaverse, right? Where you've got some really cool NFTs, but that's your ticket into their really cool metaverse. So what's their metaverse about? It's about community, it's about partying, it's about making friends, right? So I think the metaverse on a simple level is just all the things that we do as human beings in the physical world right now will happen in the metaverse. I mean, like, check out Portals, right? An amazing project. It's basically a stadium arena that you can buy a seat or a suite in, and they're going to have all sorts of like, live festivals and music and sports activities that are in their metaverse. So yeah, I can't wait to see all these things that are being built, because we just don't know right now, but there's so many great visions of what you think the metaverse is versus Ali versus Anne versus Ludovic, right? We've all got our own vision of the metaverse, and we can go build it.
Okay, cool. I think we get back to the metaverse like at the end. Yeah, since it's a hot topic to discuss. Cool. Thank you a lot. And Ludovic?
Yes, thank you everyone for joining. At Homa Games, we are focused on 3 big aspects that are important for us. As a mobile games publisher, we want to find the best way to integrate a blockchain component into mobile games, but We find today the market is dabbling into this topic, trying to find a good way to integrate this component. We really think that the most important thing is to enhance the game experience for players. That's our core focus, and that's where we are spending the most of our time. Second, we keep on building IPs and our characters, because we believe, as John spoke about the metaverse, that it's about bringing your favorite characters in many different digital worlds. And at Homa, we are building these IPs and characters, and we want to bring them into games and enable the developers that work with us to use these characters into their games. And finally, we are building our technology to unlock our studio partners in their game creation process, to integrate as seamlessly and as fast as possible this blockchain component without any hurdle on the way. So that's our three main objectives, and we are very excited about them.
Oh, nice, interesting. And what kind of blockchain are you using?
It's still in discussion because there are a lot of components to take into account, a lot of parameters. It requires very precise due diligences. So I cannot exactly say which one we are going to choose. We also believe in a multi-chain world, so we are still exploring on that aspect.
I'm with you about the multi-chain. You see, it was at the beginning, you remember, like, let's say in the gaming, it was also, sometimes there are like games that were like shipped only to, let's say, app stores. And then over the time, like all this like CLS frameworks that target only like one platform. And I would say like every blockchain is kind of like similar to App Store for me, with not the same even user base, and there are a lot of people. I was like yesterday on in LA, there is like Solana Hacker House like the whole week, and sometimes I see like that was happening like before, kind of, like the similar cycle, different industry, the similar, let's say, local community, like targeted only for one, let's say, technology or one, let's say, company. And then over the time we understand, okay, the world is more like wider, and we wanted to address all the markets, and then there will be time of the middlewares. Then when we have like you say it's like Epic, like Custody, or like Unity, and then middleware like help to bring more, let's say, even like indie developers to the gate, and then like you spend less time on development. Yeah, I would foresee the same will be like in blockchain. Like this time, let's say, I advise one of the bridges, they target, let's say, how to help not only transfer assets, but also messages that will be coming this year. And then it will be more fascinating time when you can build, like kind of like, not even think about specific of the, let's say, blockchain, but rather like reuse like some common components in between of the blockchain, like in general for like transaction, for the storage of the like NFC. And then like maybe there will be solutions that NFC, like part of the graphic will not be on the, let's say, IPFS around, but also will be more native.
Yeah. And just a very great analogy that I have seen on Twitter recently is comparing a blockchain to countries, and saying that each blockchain has its own specificity, own culture, own people, and that you have to reach these different countries for your project to have like the biggest exposure, and to take into account the different aspects of different culture, and to make it a very diverse and inclusive games. And I think it's a good analogy to understand blockchain.
Yeah, I like this analogy. But right now I would see like even like countries, sometimes like you see like countries it was in past, but right now like a lot of people are moving to the world of the digital nomads. And then in the future, I would foresee it will be like local communities, and people will be migrating more from country to country. Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for the analogy.
I think that's just a really exciting thing, right? Is if, certainly in free-to-play games, you don't have to worry about this sense of community, right? You put an ad out there, someone downloads it, they play the game, that's kind of it, versus like, obviously some of the Candy Crush has got a cult following. But I think with these games and the whole essence of play to earn, it's got that sense of community embedded in it. So certainly the projects that we've been involved in, like from the start, even, yes, you need to think about making the game, but you need to think about early on building and engaging that community, right? Because you need that engagement to sort of get involved with early feedback on your game, but also to start making noise about your project, ahead of your NFT drop, to start sort of creating noise and value. And then, again, if you're doing like a SAFT agreement, investors, they will dive into your Discord channel and look at how engaged your community. So there's all these things that that you've got to think about, that if you put the sort of like mobile game sort of free to play hat on, you just don't have to think about any of this right early on. So I think it's really fun to go through this process and just learn by actively doing projects, or even as a hobbyist. Like, the best thing I would recommend is just hang out in Discord groups at the weekend. To your point, Dmitry, right? I'm in, I don't know how many different Discord channels, but the feeling of that community is so different for each project, right? So like Paladin Panda, like that's a gaming one. Like what's going on there is very different to like the Days Ducks that I'm in as well. Totally different, right?
Yeah, and we have a lot of choices right now. Like, if you go somewhere and we don't like something in this local community, we can find another one. This is nice. Cool. Good. And so, speaking about all the NFTs, let's move to the beginning. So everything starts from education, and I would say we are kind of, my personal feeling, we are at the beginning of the mass market. In Miami, I was like, you remember sometimes you see kind of like palm reading for $5, like 1 hour on the street. And now, for me, what surprised when I saw in Miami, like paper advertisement on the streets, like NFT sales collection, guys. So it means we are in the mass market at the beginning, and it's nice times to see. And mass market, it's very important to educate and to bring more and more people into the crypto, let's say, field, so that people will actually understand from the beginning what I need to do, what is actually this NFTs that already somewhere in the news, everyone talking, but nobody understand. Let's start from the basics. What is your vision in general, let's say, because there are different types of NFTs. And what do you think? How do you perceive personally what is NFT?
Being new to this industry, really, at first I really didn't hear about NFTs, not until I joined Star Crazy. NFTs are digital arts, may be in form of real estate or music or art that is uniquely done and has a proof of ownership that can be verified through a blockchain. So basically, no other person owns the same NFT that you have. And NFTs in themselves, such as in our project in Star Crazy, have already perks. Because in Star Crazy right now, we're trying to go beyond just having the NFT as the the stars. We call them stars, the cats that dig in the star mine. They're called stars. Our stars are unique. Each of the stars doesn't have the same attribute, and each owner of the stars or the NFTs looks at the attributes as already perks, because we are also into, recently we just had our planet auction, so it's still another NFT inside the game, but right now it's more on the real estate side. It's like a real estate NFT in one platform, in one game, in one environment. So basically, we are still talking about the future activities we can do in the planets. Maybe these stars, your stars, are can travel from planet to planet, and depending on the property of the planet, they are able to mine at different rates, and they're able to play. Actually, this end of by the end of February or in the start of March, we are about to launch our player versus player. There will be a player versus player mode or section in our in the game itself. Yeah,
Nice.
and
So it means that basically you have different, let's say, type of the property on different scale, let's say, and everything you can name NFT, and you can buy different pieces of it.
Yeah, you can absolutely buy different pieces.
So
And
it's more
what's
like, so one side, so we have like in generic, so we have like NFT as a property.
sorry, Dimitri?
So you have NFT is a kind of like underlying assets is property.
Yeah,
One
it's
of
a
the type.
property. Yes, with the value, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Ali? What is your like perception? And
Perception of NFTs. Well, I believe
basic, like
NFTs.
basic. The goal is like educate our viewers.
Okay, so NFT basically for me, I believe that it's just owning something in a digital reality. It could be art, it could be music, it could be anything. As far as you can have that smart contract that says that you're the owner of that certain IP or whatever in the blockchain, then that's what I think NFT is presenting at the main moment. But I do believe that NFTs will grow into something more than this, and it will enter many other industries, not just JPEG and PNGs, like most of the hyped projects are at the meantime. I believe that it's in a phase of hype, and it's moving forward into something more solid, which it will go hand in hand with the metaverses that are being developed at the meantime.
Nice. Yeah, and I see like you see beginning of the market is usually always like overhyped, like people are moving there, and then we also need to be careful because sometimes people like put in NFT, put the graphics, but like I saw a lot of project, let's say in the cycle of 17, when people just like wanted to put like white paper, but like at the end, like 1 year later, you see they're not delivering. And what I see right now in this cycle, like more and more project like coming into life, trying to do not the, let's say, short game of scamming, but as a long game of actually delivering some products and bringing the community and building the community. Because at the end, like all the products, is opportunity for people to meet together, do some actions. Mhm.
True.
So, John, what is your perception of the NFT? Casual way.
Yeah, I mean, I think what some of what we said already stands, right. I think we're still really early, right, and where we are right now is, yeah, people, I just think we're just doing a very simple thing we've always done as humans. We enjoy collecting stuff, right, whether it's sneakers, physical art, whatever it is. And I think now, I think we're still at the early stages, despite obviously OpenSea's exploded of collecting stuff. Where I think we'll get to that mass adoption moment is going to be where people are truly interacting with their digital assets. Those are the projects that I get really really excited about. And you're starting to see them in gaming, and the kind of thing that I find fascinating is actually some of these things are not new, right? So like UGC in gaming is not a new thing at all, right? But there's some amazing projects now that yes, you have your sort of like NFT, which is you sort of buying into the space, but now I mean, check out Shrapnel, right? It's for me, this is really where it should be going. You can create your own assets and maps and weapons, etc., that other people can then buy, and then that changes your gameplay, right? I think in the gaming world, it's those kind of projects that are already starting to stand out versus, I think we already have, I mean, I'm massively into Solana, but like, they're just the number of projects you see every day that just look exactly the same, right? Amazing art, but there's no real roadmap there, right? There's no real thought of making a game, right? You look at the roadmap and it's like they look the same, right? Merchandise, and maybe there's a secondary drop, but there's no even playable game that I can make now. So yeah, I think that's where we will end to, just this really exciting world where your NFT, you can interact with it in some way, and it gives you access to something way bigger than simply trading something in a marketplace.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, but we are just at the beginning, you see, and I would foresee like there can be different type of the NFT usage in the games. Even right now, like people use like NFT even as marketing at the beginning. This what you say like drops, and if you can tell like to our audience what about like what does a drops means.
Yeah, but what's it? I mean, like this is the thing, right? This is where if you know, it's a whole conversation, right? It's the funding of games projects. So now I feel that in the short term, like NFTs have changed the way that developers can access funds, right? So let's take hyper casual, right? Right now in hyper casual, there's a lot of developers that, you know, are getting exhausted of the publishing model, right? Of just chasing low CPIs. You know, they're just part of this massive prototype machine, and all of a sudden now they've got access potentially to these blockchain games, and if they execute properly, they could do, you know, through a token sale and an NFT drop, e.g., creating these JPEGs, whatever you want to
We're
call
one
it.
of those people.
Yeah, so you know, putting, and I see some good examples. You know, you can make some very good money very quickly, right? And then rather than going down the traditional VC route where you sell a percentage equity in your company, you don't have to give away any of your company, and you could make $500,000, $1 million very quickly through initial liquidity of selling these NFTs. You don't even have to have a token, but you could have NFT and a token sale, and all of a sudden now you've got $1 million to get your head down and build a solid product, hire people without, you know, you've basically just done a giant crowdfunding, you know, almost like at a Kickstarter, right? So I think it's pretty, you know, I don't want to underestimate the, you know, I'm sure Ali can talk more about it, but, you know, you're still building a company, a team, a product, you know, legal compliance, like all the stuff that, you know, I'm sure Ali's like going through. But yeah, it's kind of brought a new angle for game developers to explore. And, you know, I can see a lot of people that are working on really cool projects now and getting out of, you know, certainly hyper casual games, because, you know, they realize that, you know, it's a publisher's game, and actually they can now control their own development cycle and have access to money. So I think that's an interesting dynamic for, you know, I know a lot of the audience at this conference are in
I like what you underlined, that like so NFT is helping development studios actually to not lose control of the ownership of the like own studio, because we saw a lot of like use cases in past when we see money come, and then like developers like or founders like who were at the beginning, they're not in control of what they're doing, but they guide it like where to go. And this is kind of like interesting use case. So it's kind of independence of development studios.
Yeah, it's great. Like a friend of mine, like they were working for like great publishers, but you know, very little freedom over the game they could make, and they has to hit certain metrics. Whereas now they've just used that experience and done a really great token sale, and now they have their community to answer to, but they're in total freedom of what they want to do. There's no publisher there anymore, and you know, they you know, just from a sort of friendship level, they've got this whole new lease of life and excitement. And it's, you know, I think it's really great for our community to have this opportunity. But yeah, I would definitely, I mean, I'll let Ali talk about it, but I would definitely make sure you've got a very good legal and financial team behind you to advise you on all of the kind of tax and compliance stuff.
Nice. Cool. Thank you a lot for your input. Yeah. Ludovic, what is your vision of the NFT?
Yeah, for me, it's this investing part and the ability for studio to bootstrap their project thanks to NFT is amazing. And it comes back to what I think about NFT is at the crossroad of so many different categories and areas, like technology, investing, entertainment, the arts, socializing. It's the first time we have all these components together in something that everyone can understand and can use in so many different creative and new ways. When you say that we are so early, for me, that's what is the most appealing for all of us here and potentially our audience, that we are here to create this new world. What NFT are today is totally different, I believe, to what they will be in even 1 year. And if you think 1 year ago, I think most of us here had almost no idea what could be done with NFT. The most famous NFT collection, the Bored Ape, they are maybe 8 years old. They are valued at 5 billion. It's a part of speculation, but also a gateway to creativity, to new opportunities. And that's something that we are really crazy fan about. And that's what brings me in this space, all these new opportunities and new creative people to collaborate together in this scientist experimentation way. So that's what I like. And also what is very important for NFT is to think of them as a block. On top of them, you can add new block whenever you want. So when we have an NFT collection or NFT in-game, you just have to remind that in 2 months, people can, the creator of this NFT, they can add whatever they want in terms of utilities on top of this NFT, which means that it's an endless opportunity for people to join at any time, and it's a long-term perspective. So when you are a fan of NFT collection, always try to assess what is the long-term perspective and how do you believe in the team more than what they offer right now, because it's a long-term road that we will build with the community, and this community will provide you ideas, feedback, and the capabilities of the team is the most important thing in the end.
Nice input. So like I have a question for you related to what you say. So about, let's say, there are some like collections that never existed, let's say, and they just like young, and now they became very popular and kind of wearable collections. But what do you think about such collection in the long term, let's say, if there is no utility?
You mean this PFP, like the various PFP collection that were delivered, or one collection in particular?
Yeah, let's say like a collection that, let's say, that became right now like wearable. There is like, like price grow, like, and so on. Everyone is speaking, but what about long-term value of such type if there is no utility?
Yeah, what I find very important, and as John mentioned earlier, and that's what I really believe too, is what kind of people you manage to gather together, and what is the vibe, what is the like what your community wants, and how will they support you. So I have seen a lot of community, like on Solana, for example, there is one that I like, which is called The Gods. Basically, at first, it was just a PFP collection, but all the people inside this community, they were here for the same reason, because they believe in the creators of this community. They like the message they wanted to share. They like the vision they had, even if there was no utility. And after 6 months, they started to build on top of this. They released a new DeFi project. They are producing a new game, which is not like we are making one game one day. They are actually delivering it. And on top of that, new utilities will come month after month. And maybe in 2 years from now, we'll say, okay, 2 months, I missed D-God's opportunity because I thought they had no utility. I didn't see where they wanted to go. But these people were trustable. We knew that they would deliver something. And after 2 years, what they build is amazing. And I think that's something very interesting, like that you have the opportunity to bet on people, to bet on team, to bet on the vision, and provide them the means to deliver it. And that's what matters, that they can just after months surprise you and bring more things that resonate with their community.
Okay, nice. So it means it's like predictive market, like utility. So there is utility,
I believe so.
How
Yeah.
we predict the future, like about the pricing of this NFT collection? Yeah.
Yeah. The only aspect that I think is a bit, let's say, troubling, can cause issue is the speculative aspect, because you will maybe buy at the top of an NFT collection and then wait for 2 years that they deliver something and they never deliver. But you bought out of FOMO because you did not do a proper due diligence. You did not engage with the community. You are here basically, I believe, for the wrong reason. When you join an NFT collection or NFT community, you should be here because you genuinely enjoy being there, even for no financial upside. And then it comes later when you build with them. Afterwards, financial upside is a possibility, is an option, but it should not be the goal. And I believe it's really the same with the blockchain games aspect. Personally, I'm not a huge believer in play to earn games where most of the players are here to earn money and take out more money than they put in the game. I'm more somebody that believes in just we are gamers, we like to play, but I don't understand why I can never get money out of the game at some point, even if I spent 100 hours and maybe $100 in the game. I should, in the end, if I want to live, be able to just get $50 or I don't know, something like this. and it's impossible today. And I believe that's something that a value that should be provided to gamers.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not about even like this like model like play to earn in just one, but there can be, let's say, free to play and play to earn like at the same time. So there will be merging, I think, like different models into the game. The same as we have like, let's say, beginning like premium downloads, and we have like free to plays, and then there was merged like kind of we have like a cap by and then like free to play model on top of it. Yeah. And speaking about like NFTs like inside the game, but why we actually need them? What is really like big like cornerstone, right now, like why everyone like is saying like right now the whole like game industry is changing because of the NFT. Why do we really need them in your games? Specifically about like your use cases, please.
At Homa Games, you mean?
Let's start from you, okay, and then we go like
Yeah.
with the circle.
Yeah, okay. So one thing that I believe is very important, and all games are leading towards this direction, is to create more and more immersive game. That's what we see with virtual reality, with augmented reality, with UGC, with all this new aspect of game. It's to make the game more immersive and make player enjoy more this experience. And I believe that by adding this economic tokenomics around NFT, you create a much more immersive economy. And that makes the game much more immersive for players, because every aspect of the game, even more than the gameplay, but what they exchange, the value in the value of their items in the game is related to something that is much more real for them. So I think it makes the game much more immersive at first. Second, I believe that this NFT is a bridge between many digital worlds and also physical worlds. It means that on top of your items that have some value in the game, you can add value outside of your game. And just one quick example, if you own an in-game item from Homa, this in-game item, it can unlock experience in real life. For example, by putting you some augmented reality new lenses, or it can bring you reward in an event of Homa that we will organize later. And it's just this much more immersive experience, because your game is not only an isolated aspect of your life, but it can connect with much more real aspect of it. And finally, there is this aspect of communities. Thanks to ownership, communities are much more engaged. It's much more concrete to be part of a community, because you have a shared ownership of the game and the items you have. And I believe that people crave for this community and appartenance aspect of game. Whether you in the Discord, for example, you see that people come again and again. And it started from me from Twitch, where you see people gathered around game and not even playing the game, but just enjoying being part of the community of the game with their favorite streamers.
Yeah,
And
the same happened
NFT bring it back.
sport. Like we were like playing some like, let's say, football, and then we were like watching this, and we are gathering because we are watching. It became like
Yeah,
absurd.
exactly.
Cool.
So
Thank
that's
you.
the three main aspects that I see.
Yeah, thank you. And what is your input for this?
My take on this, why games need NFTs as for the project that I am in right now. You see, most of the games are centrally controlled by the developers of the game, and you don't seem to see the transparency between the transactions being done in the games. I mean, there are really games that entail monetary value just to buy the equipment, just to buy the special attributes, just to buy your upgrades and all. But having NFTs in the game revolving in the blockchain, it brings down the barrier. It makes the transactions more transparent. And since in the other point of view, just how our players view it, when they own stars, when they own planets, it somehow gives a bragging right from the player that, oh, I own this item. And the vision for that in the future is, of course, we have the vision to possibly, access other uh, partners that could also put their NFTs on our environment. Yeah, those partnerships in the future.
Oh, nice. So it means like so far what you heard from Ludovic, it's about like sense of ownership. Also for you, it's also kind of interoperability. So like games will be talking with each other then, not like
Yeah,
isolated games in the
exactly.
past.
Exactly. Actually, right now within Star Crazy, we just had a recent partner. Actually, they are called Sumotex. They are also selling NFTs, but on real estate and a fractional ownership. And they just invested like two. They own two of our planets right now. And yeah, I think that kind of partnership in a community is what we want to achieve, right? In the long run, these NFTs, these developers will have to work together and create a very good community for others who also wanted to be in the NFT world. Yeah.
Nice, nice. You see, like in past, we also like have a lot of kind of games where we have like user generated content, as like it was said. But now like they actually affecting the economy of the game. So when they put the like time, the time is converted to some assets, and then assets is converted to what everyone named like whatever money. It became more and more like unreal. So it's like expansion of the markets. So people are creating new markets then inside the game.
True.
Mm, good. Ali, what is your take on it?
I think that NFTs and it being integrated in the games adds social value to the players, where they can feel that are more embedded in the game in terms of owning something inside the game, and they know that this NFT or prop that they own inside the game has a value that will someday even go up, or they can make it turn into actual money. So they can even trade it, and in return, they will feel more into that realm of the game and the experience of the brand, where the developers are trying to reflect to the community. And I believe that that comes from a deep perspective from the user, where they are not even aware of, but once they start buying NFTs or they earn it as a reward, they would want to have more experiences like this, more engagement. It also increases the retention of the games, and therefore the lifetime value of the game can have more sustainable revenue in return.
Yes, but and then when it's we talking about the retentions, like related to the growth also, why do you think, what is your take, like why NFT can grow in the price?
I think if people would like to, have you heard of the term flippers before? Where people are flipping NFTs on Rarible or even on OpenSea. There's a lot of people that would like to also engage in that, and I believe that there is also projects that are looking forward to do something like this. The floor price might go up according to that, and therefore whoever bought an NFT or got it as a reward within the game, they can also make more profit out of it, even if they bought it someday, it will have more value, because it depends on each game. But let's say, for example, Axia Infinity, or even CryptoKitties, that's like years ago, when people were like breeding two CryptoKitties just to come up with a new CryptoKitty that has like rare proportions that reflect CryptoKitty. And it was, I think it was an interesting experience for a lot of users, and a lot of people made a lot of money out of it. And right now we're just witnessing the same exact experience, but on a collective scale.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really simple. Like the role of an NFT is what we said. It's just your access to a community. Like a lot of these discords, you can just join without buying in. It's just you need to then buy that NFT to get access to, again, like the membership community. For me, I think we're still a little bit early. I think it's, to say just having an NFT is going to like increase retention in your game is I think is a big simplification of it, right? Because to start with, it doesn't matter what you put in your game, you still need to design a really solid, core economy and loop that you need, right? And generally, I think this is the challenge, right? I see a natural fit, and that's why you see these like AAA teams raising lots of money, right? Because they have a lot of experience creating these rich economies, almost with these like never-ending games, versus typically in like free-to-play games. Certainly at the lower end of free-to-play, you're making games for people's average attention plan of 5-10 minutes, right? You've never had to design such a deep, immersive game. So I think that's also something like a challenge that we need to overcome. And you're not going to suddenly jump from 10 minutes playtime to 3 hours playtime just by putting an NFT in the game, right? So right now, for me, the early stages we're at, I see for certain projects, the NFT is just a fundraising exercise, like I walked through earlier. It's just one part of that early stage community building. You build that community because they're building that sense of emotional attachment. But I also 100% agree with what Ali's saying, right? Is, part of the marketing exercise, it's no different to the influencer marketing we do with our mobile games, right? You just have this marketing strategy, and you hear the word shilling a lot. You just log onto Twitter and see all these influencers shilling projects. I'll check this one out, mint this, mint that. So you have to have your eyes open here, because you've seen it in the past 2 weeks. There's a direct correlation between the floor prices that you're seeing and what's happening, like in the price of Ethereum or Solana, right? These two are actually related right now, because I don't believe that a lot of these projects are anywhere near stable enough to be directly influencing the price of these NFT assets. I think the price of these NFT assets is heavily influenced by the price of cryptocurrency. I think it's influenced by the price that people are willing to pay for it, right? And FOMO and how active people are at pushing that. You're seeing crazy projects minted at 1 SOL, and a day later they're at like 20. I think some of those are genuine projects, and they've got staking live earlier, so that that's what a lot of people look for. They're not looking for a game. They are looking in terms of, it's a liquidity exercise. Can I buy this NFT? And basically it's costing me nothing, because I can make that money back in 1 month. And then every month I've paid 1 SOL, and I'm now getting, for argument's sake, 1 SOL back a month. So
yeah, but you see, it's typical a game of, let's say, trading or like gambling or betting. You put some hypothesis that what will be in the future, and then you like verify your hypothesis.
Yeah,
so
you just see these
here
roadmaps.
kind of, yeah, but this is aspect like it's already existed like in any of the industries.
Yeah, but you see these roadmaps, and it's like, oh, we're going to buy some land. That's it. That's literally all it says. There's nothing. You read the white paper, it doesn't commit to anything else. It's just. So yeah, I think we are, with any, with any new cycle or technology, we're at the start, and there is, just a lot of hot air out there, and people just trying to make money, which I get, because there's a lot of money to be made very quickly. People
I think the game of money is one of the oldest games, and people put a lot of attention into these games, like, so that like the whole like time of the life is consumed like of how to make money, and then how to preserve money, and what I need to do when I have like a lot of money. So, and this like kind of game of attention. So if you put a lot of attention on this aspect, then we can have, let's say, not a good gameplay, and game can be by itself like very toxic, And I remember when I discovered that my kids like by themselves, like I didn't like moderate it. They took some games, and I found, they're very toxic, and like they learn not what they like should be, like different like aspects. They became very addicted to this like type, and then find out, let's say for kids, even like free to play games like at the earliest years, like better, let's say, like to get for myself an example, and have like only like games where there are like no aspect of like where you need to buy some pieces like of this. But then it's about educational, and in the future, like I would foresee that the models will be that games can be, I mean, right now we already saw like in Axie Infinity, it's like a job for some of the people, and it's changing the whole perception of the economy, that like people like going and working there, like, and they spend like the whole, let's say, like whatever, like 8 to 16 hours like playing the games, trying to bet that they can earn, And there are games who are like just creating the markets. So it means that the market itself is new, it's expanding. So you're not competing, let's say, with trading. It's like zero-sum game. Somebody wins, somebody lose, but like this like type of the games like will bring kind of new model, whereas the market is expanding. Because you see, Austrian Economic School in past, Mises, Hayek, they already predicted what's happened after centralization phase, and there will be market of the private money. So it means that what is happening right now, just implementation of the like economic theories that were like predicted like tens of years ago. And it's interesting to see how it's come, but it's not new. Economy was already like in place before. Now we have just implementation, and we can learn from this like cycle based on the theories. What will be the next one? Yeah. I have like a couple of questions from the audience. How fast are hyper-casual games evolving more into multiplayer and PvP games because of the earning potential? Who wanna pick this question?
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that they're not evolving in that way. I think I think you're seeing, like, if you take runners for example, I think they're evolving in that the progression is getting like a little bit more like complex, for sure. And there's like fake AI, fake leaderboards getting in, but I don't see I don't see hyper casual games getting into true multiplayer at all. I think that is a totally I think that's very, very different. I think there's some cool technology that's around that that potentially for hyper casual games can turn it into a sort of like light multiplayer IO game. But yeah, I think some of the projects we're talking about, like the sort of blockchain AAA games, are a million miles away from hyper casual games. I think my point is more the hyper casual developers that were making those games that are now looking at these blockchain projects and trying to figure out where they can point their studio and make a fun play to earn game using the experiences they've brought from hyper casual. I think that's the link. I think hyper casual games, the business model is pretty pretty established. I don't see the classic hyper casual mobile games suddenly jumping into these complex play to earn blockchain games. This is my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Anna. Sorry.
I think I can speak for Star Crazy because actually, when we say how fast, imagine Star Crazy just launched last year at September, and after September 2021, and it's this first quarter of 2022, we are about to launch our player versus player option in the game. And yeah, when we talk about hyper casual games, those are mobile games, and our games can be accessed in the web or even in the mobile app. So I think it's very imperative that these developments are really happening fast right now, because when you check our Discord, Telegram, and Twitter followers, even the discussions in the communities, they're, oh my God, we're so excited about the PvP function. They're so excited to discover more, owning the stars as NFTs, on what they can do more, on how they can earn more, basically, by enjoying that new activity in the game.
So it's kind of educational path for them. So at the beginning they didn't know, but over the time, like they unveil, okay, and it's like this what I foresee. Like let's say it's about educational. It's not competing for crypto users because market is still like niche, but rather I would say like it's about like educate like users in the general gaming community and bring them into the like crypto NFT gaming.
Yeah, basically, because the crypto market just goes up and down. It's unpredictable sometimes, but when you let them engage in the game, you give them a lot of activities to do with their NFTs and make them discover that, oh, my NFT can mine or can get some perks to this. My NFTs can battle with other NFTs. Your NFT can be traded, be auctioned to other players. It will totally create a different environment in the game. It makes the players want to stay in the game, not just because of the earning, being so conscious with the cryptocurrencies going up and down. Basically, it gives them fun also as well.
Cool. Let's pick like there is another question from the audience. How are play-to-earn games affecting both the game development market and the cryptocurrency market? And let's broad this question. We saw like different stages in generic in the gaming. Like it's kind of whether it's a new kind of like blue ocean. Let's think big. Who wanna pick the first input? Ali?
So I think it's affecting the game development market by having too many tokens as well that are saturating the market of cryptocurrencies, and those tokens are being used in play to earn bases inside games. But I believe that that's going to grow into its own genre, and it won't be really affecting the hyper casual scene in any way, maybe. I'm not sure, but the way I see it is that it's going to grow something like the gamification concept back then, when people were like playing games in order to get vouchers and discounts. Is going to have similar esteem to the users on a collective scale. And for the cryptocurrency market, it will definitely help the market grow by having more options for the traders as well.
Okay.
I think the effect of both the game development market and the cryptocurrency, I think there will be a symbiotic effect when one benefits from the other. When more people are engaged into the play to earn games, of course, I think all play to earn games are hoping that all cryptocurrencies can be accepted on the game, but that's a way long, yeah, long term to talk about. But with that saying, it can be beneficial to both. So if there are more players, then definitely using the cryptocurrency market, then that cryptocurrency will also rise. Yeah.
Yeah. But you see like NFT just let's say like instrument, but like we see different use cases right now, like different implementation how it can be like for funding, it can be like for owning some property, it can be to have like sense of ownership. So it's mean there can be different like things behind the NFT. It's mean it's just like technological layer. So and we have like a lot of land even in the physical world, like on the earth. All of this can be like NFT, or like plates of the car can be like NFT, and just like a way, like from my point of view, how we can like address on the easy way, like technology can help, not overcomplicate, but rather let's say we have right now like kind of sense of ownership that was not before, when there are like central entities and when you need to like rely to get even like your properties to prove. Right now, like through like NFT, let's say, and decentralized system, it's kind of like more automated. So everyone like it's transparent, transaction on chain, and everyone like see. You don't need to go somewhere to verify this. So and what do you think will be kind of like broad questions? What do you think will be next model after play to earn that can disrupt the industry? Just like open your imagination.
Can I start? I'm so excited right here.
Yeah.
No, basically, maybe it's just so related to the project that I am in right now. Basically, what's what I have shared a while ago. Star Crazy just launched 100 planets on auction, and yeah, we still have plans for these planets. Actually, these stars, which are also our NFTs, we'll have to battle it out to those planets, and then basically, we will have some, you know, uh, like what I shared. We already have some partners, and these partners are also working with us through time, and they're thinking about having also their other investors come to their planets. There's an interlinked chain between other NFTs, and yeah, that's certainly a vision that we want to see in the future play to earn games.
Oh, thank you. So it's like Star Nation is burning, and you see the stars, and maybe in the future some of your project can interconnect when there will be a solution. Let's say bridges like that can interconnect different type of the games, different blockchain. Let's say, now, yeah, I invited one of them. It's really like I would foresee like by the let's say end of like summer there will be some solution. Let's say like I'm working on that can help even have like games. Let's say you have some asset on one chain. Let's say, and you have some problem. Let's say, and then you want to have like some of your operational transaction on other chain.
True, it's basically that.
The technology need to be developed in order to all of, let's say, casual game developers to go into the gameplay, so that you're not relying on only one chain. And if something
Yeah,
you see
true.
like what's happened, let's say with some of the chains like in past, they were like on the market, then like people forget, and what's happened with use, remember it was like big play at the beginning. Everyone was betting on it. Now like you see what's happening is, yeah, people are not putting a lot of like effort into the iOS development, and there can happen a lot of like risk about any of the blockchains. And then like there should be solutions so that you can extract your asset from one chain and move it to another chain. Yeah, good. So I think like we have like more time because it's already 1 hour. And so I have a question. What would you foresee about, let's say, hybrid type of the game? Let's say, like right now we like position in game. Oh, this is like hyper casual, like casual. We have like recording of the game, and now we had premium. We have like free to play. We have like earn to play. What about like hybrid type of the games?
Do you mean, are you talking about like hybrid casual? Are you talking about on off
No,
chain?
I speaking about like hybrid type of the game. Let's say we have like IP world. We have some, let's say, heroes like assets, and then on one platform, let's say, like at the beginning, you cannot do like any like crypto games, one of the games on, let's say, app stores. So you need to somehow like penetrate the market and be in compliance with the store rules. This type of the games, what do you think the market will be for this? So let's say right now we have a lot of games that have no NFT. And I'm thinking about like not, let's say, like the market when people are developing new games, but rather let's say we have like a lot of like games with current game mechanics, but how they can be transitioned to the usage of the NFT.
Yeah, so you mean specifically non-mobile games, just like desktop games that people are playing?
No, both of the games, but let's say current, like let's say traditional game without crypto, without NFT.
I mean, look, you see, there's a couple of projects now that are, making public. If you look at like Panzer Dogs as an example, right? I think Apple are very quickly softening their stance and being very open now to actually, hey, there is a lot of money being made over here. We've had this sort of policy that we won't allow these NFT games in, and now, some very talented and smart developers like Herju and his team at Lucky Cat that did Panzer Dogs work talking very closely to Apple. And I think that's already starting to happen. I think you're already now starting to see there's another project, Flappies. Like you're already starting to see like at Mint, there is a playable mobile game already. And they're in discussion with the App Store now about how Apple will allow these transactional payments to happen. So for me, I think that's starting to happen already. And I think they have to open up, right? Because that's the whole sort of like purist backlash about Facebook, that it's a closed wall, and the whole concept about like Web3 and the metaverse is it's supposed to be open. So I don't think, I think there is that argument that, some people believe Ethereum is the new app store, or whatever protocol that you're a massive fan of is the new app store. But I think it's pretty naive to think that, Apple and Google are just going to do nothing, right? I think they have every intention, and the same with Facebook, of having a very strong play in the future of this NFT, Web3, world. I mean, there was a lot of noise yesterday about Facebook's earnings and then like falling off a cliff.
Everyone
actually-
was talking yesterday about this.
But then look at their earnings report, right? Look at the billions that they have invested into VR in the last quarter, right? They've changed their name. So you honestly think Facebook are not going to be a leader in everything that we're talking about? Of course they are. So yeah, I'm just really excited about how this is all going to come together.
Yeah, but I would foresee right now, like we had like a market where we have like stores. But in past, if you remember, like with premium downloads, let's say like before mobile and so on, like we don't have like kind of like silos, or let's say central controlled entity. And let's say we have like let's say like Google Play, and let's say in China, like I heard that there are like hundreds of, let's say, Google Play stores. So the market is diversified already. And once we have like channels, let's say with 5G on, I think like it's like end-line channels, but in the future, then we do not need like native, actually. You understand? So we don't need to deliver like native to the phone. We can do like a lot of stuff, let's say rendering on the server and then delivering the stream. If there will be like good channel, you don't need like to use like the phone itself as calculation like capacity. And then there will be different play game on the level of the stores even. Then you not need to publish anything. You just stream everything. And this is like kind of like bigger play. And stores are just also like on some scale, let's say, of the time, like there will be different. So stores like discovery mechanism and delivery. And once the like delivery mechanism is solved, so that the game can be shipped or streamed, then central store will not play the role that they have right now. Think about this, like it just like we don't have not enough capacity of the channel right now. That is why we like do a lot of optimization, or like we don't have like a lot of high poly like games, you know, on the web, because it's problem of the rendering with WebGL, you know, on the web. Yeah, so we'll see what's happen. I think we have like some more time. Okay. I'm not sure, like let me ask our moderator. I'm not sure how we can wrap up. I think we already like even over the time, but yeah, I'm not sure how the technical wrap up the meeting here. It's cool. I'm learning. I'm a, you know, like universal student, learning new things every time. Oh, we have like one more question. I think like we have like more time given us by Alexander. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just so it like it was question specifically and for you. Yeah, I think you answered this in the chat. So how can you be sure that reward is legit from the game event and you're not hacked and pay out an economic reward to a misleading event?
Actually, I also answered in the chat as
Yeah,
well.
because you see, like a couple of days ago, there was like hack of the wormhole bridge, you know, and like hopefully they return all of this back. But you know, it's like big events, like, and it's kind of like scary people to enter into the like crypto space, because when they see that like 250 millions like a gun, like everyone like, oh, then I bet like not to put my money in, you know. So
Yeah, I've answered the question in the chat though, but yeah, to answer it, the game again is secured in the blockchain and are verified. So each transaction is being recorded. But as to the technical helper or the server side, I think I'm not yet into more details of that. So I may get back to you with that with an answer though.
yeah, so it's more about like everything is on chain, but even if it's on chain, let's say like with the case of like recently, let's say hack of the bridges, even like they have like a one-sided like product, and they don't have, let's say, like straight transaction. But in the future, that's what I'm saying, like we need new type of the bridges, and we need more on, let's say, on the underlying layer to be solved this technological problem, so that like developers who are developing like dApps can be focusing on the gameplay, monetization strategy, like casuality of the game, user acquisition, all of this stuff. And you know, like right now, like a lot of like things here on the, let's say, on the level of the blockchains or like level of the bridges, they're still in the development. That is, I agree, like with John, we are like on the early stage on technology still. Yeah, but it's a nice time to be here. So, thank you everyone to participate. We are all in different time zone right now, and this is also I like this game. Right now, we don't need to anymore like binds. Like it's good to fly sometimes, but like for me, it's like always like I'm always on the road. And nice that we have like everything like moving online. And thank you everyone for your input.
Thank
And
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure
It
to
was a
be
pleasure
here.
for this panel.